Hey everyone, welcome to the Horror Syndicate Discourse on Tuesday, April 19th, 2022. We've done a lot of episodes. I don't think we've done anything on a Western before. Uh, Luke Hardiman's supposed to be on the show, but I think he's having some technical difficulty at the moment. So we will hopefully see him in a while, show off some of his artwork. But tonight we're going to be talking about a movie called Tomahawk. Unfortunately, it's not streaming anywhere, at least that I could tell, unless you, I guess, rent it or whatever. I bought it shortly after it came out. I saw Western, Kurt Russell, cool name. I'm in. So I bought it and finally got to watch it after about 7 years of sitting on my shelf on Saturday. And it was a really good movie, really well made movie, a great cast, and I'm pretty excited that we're going to cover it tonight because I've seen people talk about it being horror, and I was not 100% sure if it was a horror movie. But man, it's a it's almost like a slow burn horror movie. You know, once it gets there, it kicks you right in your fucking nuts. And that's something I like about slow burn horror movies, like House of the Devil. So, first thing I'm going to do, as I usually do, first of all, fucking Ezra Miller is an asshole. Um, I'm going to introduce the rest of the guys. Normally, I bring in, I think, Seth first or Nate. So I'm going to bring in Jared first because he's my buddy. Hello.
What up?
What up, old friend?
It's
How
another
are you?
night.
Are you doing well?
I am doing well. How about you, sir?
Um,
About as well as expected?
what?
Are you about as well as expected?
I'm sorry, I got fucking distracted. Yeah, I guess so. Um, okay, Luke's fucking here. There he is. Okay, we'll get to
Woohoo!
Luke in a minute. Okay.
Woohoo!
Then we'll go with Mr. Seth T. Miller. Hi, my friend. How are you?
What's up? How's it going?
I don't know. I'm so confused at the moment right now. Like, I got a text message from somebody, and I want to read what it says.
Inquiring minds want to know.
I love you guys. I do. I love you all.
Show us a dick pic or it didn't happen.
It was a dick pic. No.
Don't.
Speaking of dick pics, Nate, Troglodyte Nate, what's up, buddy?
What's up?
How are you doing today?
Well, sending you dick pics all day. You finally responded.
I'm trying hard not to blush. So, but we're excited to talk about this movie. I finally got to watch it. We'll get some thoughts, but first I want to introduce the guest of honor. His name is Luke Hardiman, and I've heard him speak, and I did not expect this because he's got kind of a menacing look about him. The bald head, the beard's like, and he's like 6'20" or something. Luke, welcome, my friend. How are you?
Very well. How are you doing?
See, that's not the voice you expect from a menacing looking dude.
I'm a big teddy bear.
So you're gonna give me a hug the first time we meet, like, but I'll have to like, climb a ladder, right? Because you're like, how tall are you?
I'm about 6'4".
Oh, Nate, is he taller than you?
Yeah, he is. Two inches.
Shit.
Wow.
I say we all meet at horror.
I think we got a basketball team going here.
Yeah, you got you guys, and then me, Jared, and Seth can all argue who's gonna be the fucking point guard because we're all under 6 foot. So, anyhow, welcome, man. I'm glad you're here. Hopefully you have enough battery.
Thank y'all so very much.
Oh,
this means a lot, man. It means a lot.
Dude, I'm glad you're here. You've been following the Horror Syndicate for how long now?
About 2 years.
Really, that long?
I think so. Year and a half, maybe. I have to go back and look. It's been a minute.
Do you remember how you found us?
Okay. I found you through Nathan. I just happened to send you a friend request and then got to following you and found out about the show. And I knew Nathan's work. And then I met Jared, Seth, Keith, everybody. It was great.
Just went on down the line, huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, we're good people, I think, except for me. I'm terrible.
Oh.
I know you've seen my live streams. You know how crazy I can get.
No.
first of all, I want to thank you. I'm going to show some of your artwork before we get into the movie. Then we'll get into Nate's reviews because those are always fun. The Amazon reviews.
Yeah.
You got some good ones, Nate?
There was a lot.
Oh my God, for real?
I'm
There
sure
were-
there
there
were.
All right.
This
Well,
is probably the most disliked movie we've done on Amazon.
no fucking way. Really? That's a shame.
It's still liked more than it is disliked, but yeah,
Well,
there was a lot of hate, but there's a reason for it, and we'll talk about it.
This movie is really fucking good, though. Like,
Mhm.
crazy to see. Luke may come back eventually. You never know. Let's show some art. First of all, he was kind enough to do. I don't know. I don't want to call these caricatures because they're not exactly, but they're fucking cartoony versions of us, I guess. And I'm still wanting to get these colored, but Luke did a few of these. Here's me. Your thumbs up. Yeah. And these look great, dude. Like I think you captured, especially Seth. That looks exactly like Seth. Got the Halloween hoodie going. Got probably a fucking tall boy beard there.
And he's got the backwards hat with his hair fluffing right now as we speak.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me
Give us that smile, Seth.
Yeah, do that smile. Can you do it like the Ninja
Give us
Turtles?
a Billy Idol smile.
And then we've got Nate wearing a Jaws shirt. Got the what do
My
they call
calic.
it? I mean, it's accurate.
It
looks
is.
good. Who was
That's
the
why
hardest to capture?
That's why I shaved my head.
Yeah, well, me too. Which one of us was the hardest to capture? There's Jared.
Actually, it was all very easy. I was very afraid, but once I started, I just looked at y'all's pictures and it was a go, you know?
You have to do one for Morgan. You remember Morgan? I'll send you a picture of her. She's through the Horse Syndicate from the beginning, and she was kind of like, I didn't get one. I'm like, well, you don't know Luke, I don't think.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll send you a picture. She's a good person. But
okay.
Luke, tell us about what you're trying to do. I know we've talked about. I keep thinking that like it's top secret, but I can't remember the coloring book. Is that
it is?
Is it top secret?
Not really.
Okay.
We are trying. I got a friend, Joe.
While I do that, I'm gonna flash some of your images. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Like this. Bam.
But my friend Joe has been hard at work on the website. I was wanting to launch it before tonight, but it just isn't working out. We'll try to launch first of next week. It just depends. And the coloring book, we're going to start up a Kickstarter, and we need to get equipment for it. But I'm kind of nervous, you know. But
I got your back, brother.
Putting yourself out there, man. You know.
I got your back, man. Don't worry about that. I'll help you any way I can.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But I just want to share, man. I just want to create stuff and give some of me to somebody else. I love these. You know, I'm very happy to be where I'm at. And this is just what I love.
Yeah. It's a good thing to love, man. You do
And,
really great work. Didn't you do something for Seth once?
Not yet. Not yet. Me and him talked about it, though.
Uh-oh. Are we allowed to know? Seth? Got a shitty...
You will, Seth. You
What is
will,
it?
buddy. Because I'm hard at work on a documentary right now, man. That's what I'm focused on.
Tell us about that.
Okay, Pajero, the Raymondville Terror. There's a shot of it. This big bird in 1976 terrorized this town. And George Salinas contacted me, very nice man, and asked me if I would produce art for the documentary. And I said, absolutely. And they are hard at work at that in Texas right now.
That's
Don't
cool,
have a
man.
release date. He told me one, but I don't know if that is accurate, so I'm not going to say. But they are working on it right now.
That is awesome. I'm glad you're getting work and doing stuff. I do love your art style. It almost, some of them almost look like they're like old school like engravings you'd see in old books. You know what I'm saying? Like I get that feel on a couple of them for sure.
Somebody asked me if they were scratchings or something. I'm like, no, man, they're just, you know, a lot of markers.
Yeah, like the black scratch board. You ever do that before? Yeah, I could see that. It's your inks are so like dark, you know. I think that's why you kind of get that from that. But yeah, man, you do great work. Nate, what do you think of his work? You're an artist connoisseur.
Okay, put his head down.
Nathan,
it's
you are
great,
the
man. Yeah, you got to go for it, man. Don't be. I know how scary it is to put your stuff out there. I was very afraid. I was in my 30s by the time I was like, okay, I guess I'll try. And it was worth it. It's like, why did I wait this long, kind of thing? Because they're gonna have people who like it. That's the thing with art. Like we don't think that anybody's gonna like it, and there will be people who don't. And but that's the thing. Like I go to conventions, and I'll be an artist row, and there'll be 40 artists, and people will walk past your booth and go to this guy, but then the next person will walk past him and go to you, and that's just how it goes. So art's like there's just a immediate reaction that people have to it. They see it and they like it, and they go to it, or they don't, and that's really how it goes. So yeah, you'll have responses for it. Definitely. I mean, just, if you're going to do conventions or something, start out some of the smaller ones before you start dumping money into the big ones, because they can get really expensive. You can get a table for like $30 at a little Comic-Con or something like that. I know you're in Tennessee, right?
Yes, sir.
A friend of mine, Mark Ballard, puts on a show. I don't know if he still does, in Nashville. And it's kind of a small comic pop culture con. And I did a lot of his early shows. And he would do shows in Louisville. So I'll look into Mark and see if he's still doing those in Nashville, and let you know about the information.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yep.
That's what I'm talking about, man.
A story real quick, Ray, about Nathan. Like 2 minutes.
He's taking 2 minutes to answer. Yeah, go ahead, man. It's your guest spot. Let's go.
Yeah.
Okay. I found out about Nathan. I was working and I was printing off some pictures I wanted to draw, inspiration. And I found a Jason Part 7. It had the body, half body with the mask, and then the big unmasked head behind it. I saw your name and I had you pictured. I said, who is this cat? And I've had you pictured as like this old guy, man, in California. And then I found out you were close to my age and you lived in Kentucky. It's amazing.
Yeah, I've had friends of mine, who'll say, they'll go to a friend's house and they'll see my Blu-rays or something. They go, I know Nate, he's my best friend. And they're like, yeah, whatever. He's probably rich in California in a mansion. I was like, everybody just assumes that you are like, but the thing is with artists, like we're all over the world, and you don't have to live in California, and we don't get paid much. So I remember when I hooked up with Horror Hound magazine, people were like, man, you must be set. No, I mean, the publishers aren't set, like the guys running it. So, it's just the way it is. But you don't do it for the money; you do it for the love of it. That's really what it's about. If you get paid, that's just the bonus. But you hang in there long enough, and you prove yourself. Eventually you can make a living.
Yes, sir.
But just you have to pay your dues, like in all the arts.
Yep.
Yeah.
Luke, it's so great to have you, man.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
It really
I've been
is.
excited.
Yeah, it's. I'm glad to have you here. I don't know. I'm very happy about it. Can't wait to dig into this movie. Are you ready to hear Nathan talk about the Amazon orders?
Yes.
I got this now, so whenever we do, that yeah, don't ask what he's doing there. But anyway, so Nate's gonna do some Amazon 1-star, 5-star ratings. You ready, Nate?
Let's do it.
Then we'll get into the movie.
Like I said, a lot of the criticism of this movie is kind of warranted, because like we talked about it, like this is if you look at this movie, it's like, oh, this is like Tombstone 2 or something, right? It's Kurt Russell, it's a Western. So imagine you're renting this movie thinking you're getting Tombstone 2 or, The Searchers or whatever the hell it is. And all of a sudden you see a guy stripped naked and chopped in half pretty graphically.
Oh, hold on. For anybody who hasn't seen it, spoilers. Got to get that spoiler button ready.
That's one of the most graphic things I've ever seen in a film. Like to the point where I don't know if I ever want to watch that part again. But imagine you're just like some person like skimming through, like surfing the internet and going, hell, this is Kurt Russell Western. And you watch it, you get to that. So a lot of the reviews were like people just astounded or disgusted or angry about that, like the level of violence. They were not expecting that, and I can appreciate that. I can respect people being like caught off guard, because it is, like a lot of people said, I can't get that image out of my head, and it's true. It is a fucking horrible moment, and if you're someone who's not into horror or like violence, that could traumatize somebody seeing that scene. We knew what we were getting into. I did. I knew it was a horror movie from the get-go. But so when you watch like a cannibal, if you're watching Cannibal Holocaust and you think it's 500 Days of Summer, you're gonna be taken off guard. So anyway, I'll get into the reviews, because there were a lot of bad reviews for it, but there were way more good ones.
Let's do it.
Okay. This was bad, really bad. It's difficult to believe that movie making has developed into this. This is the type of story that your overindulged 12-year-old comes up with, including the hand-drawn pictures of stickmen, blood, and stink lines. It has all the nature of a modern movie: unnecessary sex, blood, bone, gore, and vapid, unrealistic scenes and story. This one, however, goes out of its way to be 12. You will progress through this trauma saying to yourself, why doesn't he? How come they don't? But they wouldn't. Halfway through, you give up and just roll eyes and shake heads. I like your work, Kurt, and you have lots. Why this desperate?
What?
There's a whole lot of people think they must have done this for the money. And it's not true. Like Kurt
There was
Russell
needless
was a big
sex. What?
Yeah,
There was
there's a
one
couple
sex
of those.
scene between a man and a wife. That was it.
Yeah, there were a lot of comments about they must have needed the money. They must have done this for the money. And the truth is, like, Kurt Russell was aware of Craig's writing, because Craig is a novelist, and he had read one of his. So I really want to read some of his westerns because they sound outstanding. But Kurt had actually signed on before they even got like the money or everything. And and this movie was like $1.8 million, so it wasn't a lot of money. People were working. He said that David Arquette basically did it for scale. I mean, he was doing it for like minimum wage. So they all were like, the writing is fantastic, which it is. It's really good writing. There's so much attacking on the writing. I was like, God, you people don't understand. You don't know what good writing is. You're like, this is really well written.
Or did they realize that it was only shot in 21 days?
Yeah.
3 weeks, man.
Yeah. It's I mean, just the level of talent and how good it is, and just being a Western, and the practical effects and all that, to do it for 1.8 million is pretty impressive. Especially also his first movie, first time filmmaker. Although this guy is super talented. He's got a death metal band. He's a cinematographer, novelist. He's made 3 outstanding films, really. I know we're talking about him. I'll get into more reviews, I guess, before we jump in. Incredibly boring. Save your time and skip this movie. The plot has very little logic and is just plain dumb. Among the dumb things, almost no horses. 4 horses in the whole film.
Like that's a major prerequisite.
They get stolen at. The reason horse stealing was hanging a fence was because being without a horse in the West could be deadly. Yeah, that's in the movie. The town is well established, not a camp, but there is a whole big section of the country nearby that nobody knows about. Plus, a tribe nobody has heard of. Nobody can see. I mean, first of all, they're 11 days walk away.
Yeah.
Like they don't know. Like no one knows about these people because they're in an area where no one goes. Like Patrick Wilson says that in the movie. They never, when he's on the wagon trail or taking the cattle or whatever. That's what he does. Right?
Trains go that way
because we don't go that way. So probably for a good reason. Nobody can see an enemy until they're within 10 yards because they're camouflaged. They're hidden. They sneak attack. Just a lot of dumb and very little action. The movie just dragged on and on. Oh my God, you call this a Western? Horrible movie. Kids should not see this graphic horror. Cannibalism is disgusting. First of all, I was disappointed in the characters in the first place. This was listed under Christian movies. Not well. It is very Christian. There's
It
a
is.
lot
I
of
mean, yeah, Patrick Wilson talks to God all
It's
the time.
very faith-based with
Yeah.
Patrick Wilson. Not even close. Satanic, however, yes. I gave it a star only because it is required to review a horrible movie.
God, these people don't know what the
Uh,
fuck they're
They said
talking
it
about.
was satanic.
I don't know how the cast agreed to the script. The cast is great, the writing isn't bad, and the cinematography is good. But oh my God, does this movie take a turn for the worst? It's depraved to the point that only a reprobate could celebrate it or say it's enjoyable, and the ending to say it leaves something to be desired is quite an understatement.
What?
It was like, yeah, I don't know. It was like they just ran out of time and budget, or both. Why is it every time something happens in a movie that they don't love, they say they must have run out of money? They run out of budget. They made the movie they wanted.
I'm
Apparently,
surprised
they said,
the budget was as high as it was.
yeah. They got the film exactly like the script was. Like I think they filmed everything, and it's in there. Maybe they realized that they were just writing crap at this point and gave up. This was a good one. Hollywood has lost its way. This is not a Hollywood film. This was very independent. They got the money themselves. Hollywood had nothing to do with this movie. I realize this movie is 5 years old, but anymore, it seems all that comes out of Hollywood is second-rate, second-class garbage. They'll stand up during the Emmys or the Oscars and preach to us how we need to think this way or that way, who or what we need to support in this country and throughout the world when they can't even do a good job in their own field. Hollywood needs to shut up, stop preaching at us, and make a good movie.
And just smack Chris Rock in the face.
After seeing Lily Simmons, I want to talk about this one. After seeing Lemmy Simmons' performance, they should have left her in the cave to be eaten. Apparently unaffected by her abduction at the hands of some very brutal and frightening cave dwellers, she sits in her cozy little cell and complains about her rescuers. Now, she's been there for 5 days?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She's a doctor. She's seen violence. She knows what's going to happen to her, and she's kind of come to terms with it, in my opinion.
They also show that she's kind of a tough woman.
Yeah, she's tough.
Yep. Yeah.
And she's not she's a doctor. Like she dresses wounds. She takes bullets out of people's legs. Like she's seen violence. But the thing is, like, I think at this point she knows, like, I'm going to die. It's just a matter of time. And so I guess they wanted her to act like the stereotypical woman, to be like, oh, I was freaked out and crying and weeping. And, she's not. She's the one who's saying, you fuckers are the stupid ones. And this is why
She's really smart too. Like,
yeah,
she was
she's very smart.
She was like telling them, like, she like was watching them the whole time and kind of got what their patterns or whatever. And like that's stupid.
She read people. Like, she was annoyed by all the men in town too. Like when Bruder comes and tells her, I need you, like, she knows that the sheriff shot the guy in the leg. She finishes her sentence basically.
Let me guess.
Yeah, like she goes, oh, that's it. What's the deputy say? Like, that's his hobby? Like, to shoot people in the leg. But yeah, she's very smart. And I just think that, she's past her hysterical crying phase at this point. Like, what's that going to do? Like, I guess people are just used to seeing women be broken and terrified, and that's not what happens. Yeah, damsels in distress. She's not, the princess in distress. She's actually, I don't know. She'd have rather they not been there, because she just knows that there's no hope in her eyes.
Mm-hmm.
She was already anticipating no hope.
Do you have any more, Nate?
Yes. What a bloated
I'll be right back.
film. No one needed to make this movie. It neither succeeds as Western or a horror film. It has gore, sure, but so what? The effects are poor quality. There are no protagonists to care about. There are no villains to be captivated by. I got within about the last 35 minutes and just started speeding through scenes till I got to the credits. Yawn. What a disaster. It gets 1 star because I can't go less. This is 2 hours and 12 minutes you will never get back. The most exciting part was the end credits, when I knew it was over and could go throw up. Kurt Russell will apologize for the turd on his deathbed. Kurt Russell just wanted to spend time in the desert.
Have you seen Soldier? Have you seen Soldier, Mister?
Yeah,
That was not a good one.
exactly.
I'm gonna skip through some of these because it's just a lot of the same shit.
Wow.
Absolute failure. Let's see. I don't think Kurt Russell could sink any lower than this. I didn't think Kurt Russell could sink any lower than his role as Snake Plissken in Escape from New York, but he did it in this disaster.
What?
Seth, what do you think about that one?
What a joke. It takes a special kind of idiot to write a movie like this one.
And they didn't even mention Escape from LA. They went straight to New York.
They went to New York. 80% of the film is of 4 guys walking in the wilderness. Talk about total stupidity. Where is the West without the junk? Come on already. 5 minutes in and graphic unnecessary sex scene went no further. Typically, that indicates the lack of intelligence dialogue. Fill the script. Tired of it.
What?
This movie versus a root canal. Too long with a story that loses focus. All the cameos in the world couldn't save this movie. I've never had a root canal, but after suffering through this movie, well, fast forwarding through it, I'm pretty prepared should I ever need one. If you are ever in the mood to watch Bone Tomahawk, don't. The only way this could be worse if Nicolas Cage was in it.
Oh, come on.
Oh, man.
Really bad. Slowest movie ever. Could have told the story, which is pretty weak, in about 15 minutes. They did show some side boob, though.
Oh, wow. So he actually acknowledged the gratuitous sex, apparently.
This one's titled Naked Movie. I turned it off when the naked lady was having sex with the man.
What?
You never turn a movie off at that point.
The hills have boredom.
I see what he got there, but
cannibalized my time. The best thing I could say for this movie is, of all the movies I have ever seen, this is definitely one of them. Actually, after the first 10 minutes or so, you could go clean out your toilets and be better entertained. That's it.
That's rough, man. That's fucking rough. Is that the last one?
Yeah.
All right, thanks. This has been Nate's. We need a name for this, Nate. Something flashy with the, anyway. Those were, oh man, those were kind of rough, man.
Scathing. And not deserved.
No, this movie's really good, actually. It's really well made. It has a great cast. Patrick Wilson, in my opinion, is a fucking powerhouse in this movie. He has his broken leg, and
all 4 of those leads give fucking brilliant performance.
This was the only time I've ever been interested in watching Matthew Fox.
it's without a doubt his best performance.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, yeah. I was gonna say that for later, but yeah,
yeah. Well, y'all, all right.
Not bad.
Luke is our guest. Does Luke want to take it?
Luke.
Yeah.
Why did you choose this film?
Yes.
Okay, it come into my radar because of you.
Actually, hold on, Luke. It's because I turned down the other 2. But go ahead.
Okay.
No, I'm
Yeah.
Go ahead, buddy.
All right. You posted about it, Nathan, several years ago, and I tracked it down. And the first time I watched it, I was like, "This is really good." And like you said, you get to the end and you're kind of shocked. But I loved everything about it, from the cinematography to the direction, the actors. One of my favorite Kurt Russell performances, and it is Matthew Fox's best.
Oh yeah.
In fact, at the end, towards the end, when he says, "We'll make sure all this has value," that is my favorite line in that whole movie.
Yeah.
When he tells us.
And you're talking about a movie that's got absolutely excellent dialogue. I mean, dialogue is superb in this movie.
Really good. I mean, that line, my favorite line Kurt has, say goodbye to my wife. I'll say hello to yours.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's a fucking great moment.
Yeah.
I mean, that'll even make the hardest man kind of just like, oh, shit. Okay. Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. That part kind of choked me up a bit. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Yeah, that was strong shit. And yeah, the whole, like, Matthew Fox has some of the great. I've seen people say he's kind of dime store Doc Holliday. But the interesting thing about Matt Fox's role in this is that he's kind of like the typical kind of bad guy. In most Westerns, he'd be the guy that would turn on him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He'd be the the guy that would screw them over, but he's not. He stays he actually has his reasons for what he does, and he's admittedly, I'm vain. Yeah, I love how I'm too vain to live as a cripple. And like there's an honor to him. The fact that he goes, and I know he's part because he's trying to kill as many Native Americans as he can because he's got this vendetta against them for murdering his mother. I love that line where he says, "Why do you hate them? Great. Why do you hate them?" He goes, "Well, you should ask my mother and my two sisters. Like, I never met them." He goes, "That's right, you never met them." And it's that's graceful dialogue. A lot of the dialogue in this film is telling character and story. Unless you're listening to it, which most people don't, they're not picking up that character development and those backstories, but it's all there. Like we know
it's real quick and subtle.
Yeah, it's very graceful. And that's how good dialogue is. It's not about tell you everything. And everyone now needs to be told everything, or they feel like there's plot holes, or they feel like there's like it's lazy writing. It's like, no, that is the best writing, but you need to fucking pay attention to what's being said. And that's what most people don't, is they don't pay attention. They're just sitting there. This is boring. When's this? They're just walking and talking. What's going on?
Stay off your phone, young man.
But what they're saying is important.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So go ahead, Luke.
I was just gonna say, I agree on the dialogue. I like too because it looked authentic. It really felt like what year was it set? Do y'all know?
It's like the late 1800s, like 1890s.
Yeah. Like late 1890s, almost 1900.
Yeah, his wife,
Richard Jenkins' wife.
Jenkins' wife died in 1891. So I don't know when she passed away, but I think he's probably the only Civil War veteran from it because they talk about him dressing wounds. Right. Kurt may be old enough to have been in the Civil War. The Civil War was 30 years before this, or 35 years.
Okay.
So
I bet he was. He had to have been.
It's possible that Kurt was. Maybe that's how they met, because they definitely have an old. At the same time, like I maybe not. Maybe they're not the oldest of friends, but they've known each other. I was watching the Q&A, and Jenkins had a really funny thing. He said, "So what was it like working with Kurt?" And he said, "Oh, it was great." He goes, I've been watching that guy my whole life. He's just a professional. He's a problem solver. He said, basically, my character just has to worship Kurt Russell. And I'm like, I can do that.
Yeah.
I watched that same Q&A too.
Yeah.
I tried. I watched most.
It's weird with their like back and forth. You almost get the feeling that Kurt Russell's character takes care of Chicory, tells him, "Oh, make sure you blow on it. It's gonna be hot."
The soup, I like the soup scene.
It's like he just looks out for him every step of the way.
Chicory is definitely a simpleton in many ways.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I don't know if he's had a brain injury or it's just he's simple, but he's definitely someone who is kind of naive and childlike in some ways, even though he's the oldest guy there, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's got a hard head.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. He's got a hard head that bounces arrows, right?
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Literally.
Seth, what were your initial reactions?
Yeah, I liked it. I saw it for the first time last night. My dad has been telling me to watch this movie for years, and I look at the DVD cover and I'm like, cool, it's a Western, I'll check it out sometime, and I just never did. So I really liked it. I thought it was a really good horror Western, and I really like the way it was made, because I think anyone else could take the same script and probably just do a standard action movie from everything that happens in it, but the director chooses to kind of go raw with it, with sort of like the lack of score and with a lot of the natural sounds, and with the way that the violence was also kind of raw, and it a lot of times sudden. It was like happening like you were there with those guys, and something chaotic is happening, and it was really intense, and it was just well made. I like the choice to do a situational horror movie instead of just like an action movie, which they could have easily done with the same script, I think. So I enjoyed it. It was a good recommendation.
The fights were really good. They look They looked like they would get tired when they were fighting, even though it was to the death. Even when David Arquette is cutting the guy's throat at the beginning, it's a dull knife, and just the sounds and everything, like you said, raw, very raw.
It's raw and it's real, because there aren't like they're fight scenes, but they're not fight scenes because they're like that. They're like how real violence is. Like a real sword fight doesn't last for 10 minutes. It lasts for a few minutes or a few seconds, really. And like, so just when you see arrows and they just come in there with the tomahawks, and they're just, and because of the lack of music, because it's so dependent on sound design, so you're seeing this quick attack with this, coupled with these great sound design of chop, cut, chick, arrows, and it's like they're overwhelmed. As badass as Matt Fox is, he's the first taken out, like quick, can cut off, shot with arrow, down, and he's out. He's out of the fight, like, and he knows it, and it's like I think that's the brilliance of what Seth is saying is a normal Hollywood film they would have said we need more action. Maybe they run into some Comanches, or maybe they run into like this. They would have had more interactions with other problems, even though they do have the Mexican guys break into camp and steal their horses and all that. Hollywood would have had more going, but this movie allows us to know who these guys are, be on that trip with them, and get to really care about them. And because they're movie stars, which is probably helps this movie so much, that is Kurt Russell and Jenkins and Patrick Wilson and Matthew Fox, because they're movie stars in our eyes and the audience's eyes. So we think that they're immortal and they're untouchable. So when they're being mutilated,
absolutely,
it's a shock. It's even more shocking, because it's like, whoa, Kurt Russell could die. Like, this guy could die. Like, it's it makes the stakes higher. Like, there's a whole, like, I think the first time, and every time I watch it, I feel that Patrick Wilson's not going to make it. Like, he's not. There's just no way.
Not with that leg.
No, like you're just. It's like so much is stacked against him. You just never really think that he's going to. You think Kurt Russell's going to save the day, and the fact that he does, that he's able to and that's the thing. He's smart. He outsmarts. And they say something like, we got to be smarter than they are.
Yep.
But their arrogance is what gets them attacked. But Patrick Wilson sees things and says, okay, I'm going to go up here. I'm not going to go through here. And he sees the whistle, and he uses the whistle against them.
Yeah, that was really cool.
So he outsmarts them, where just really about it's pure determination. Like, the guy doesn't even put his shoes on when he leaves to go rescue his wife. So Kurt Russell grabs him. It's like little details like that I love. Mm-hmm. And Kurt Russell knows he's not going to go. So he grabs his boots, closes his door, knows he's not coming back. It's part of like little things like that is like Kurt Russell's character development. Like, this guy is a guy who has to clean things up, even picking up the chair and setting it up right in the jail after finding everyone gone. There's just little moments like that are character building of how they go about what they do, or little bitty actions like that that go unnoticed, but they're telling character.
Yeah, well, that's one of my favorite things about movies and watching movies like this. There's a lot of character development between them, especially the main four characters.
Yep.
And you really get to like them, especially Patrick Wilson. If I had to pick my favorite character of that movie, it was him, especially when he was alone after the horses were taken. And
yep.
I also liked Kurt Russell laying the 4 rocks so they could follow the trail, and that scene where they looked like they were going to amputate his leg. Man, sometimes I think Patrick Wilson's underrated as an actor.
He's very underrated.
Yeah, he should be a bigger star than he is. He basically played that whole role one-legged. Is it legged or legged? Legged.
It's a difficult role to play, because you have to balance. He's gotten to balance, like, when he's really in pain and when he's trying to force it or not thinking about it. Like,
yeah.
And just the thing that Kurt Russell is the smart veteran guy, noticing things like he goes, hey, we need to slow down because we got to protect our horses. We got to protect you or ourselves. And he's like, I don't care about myself. He goes, I know. That's why I'm telling you. That's why I'm talking to you. Like,
we gotta do this.
Yeah, like if you don't pace yourself and you go in there guns a-blazing, you're going to die. We have to play this smart. We can't just run in there. We're going to tire ourselves down. We're going to tire our horses down. So I know you want to get there. I know, like you said, what are they doing to her right now? And that's what a husband would be thinking. What are they doing to my wife? And how can I get there to her? So we feel for Patrick because it's just like Funny Games. When you watch Funny Games and they hobble the dad right away, like he's sitting there watching his family being tortured or, and he can't do anything because he's been crippled. And they knew that. So as the husband and the father in that position. So here he is, his wife is in danger and he can't really do what he normally could do. He's got this Achilles heel going on where it's holding him back, and he's determined no matter how much pain he's going through, he's going to get there. And that's, I'm glad that he does. Part of it's kind of like, is it realistic that he does? Well, yeah, he outsmarts him. I can believe that he does what he does.
Yeah,
in the movie.
As soon as he figures out their call, and that was one of the coolest things about the movie was that throat whistle that they had. Yep. And it made that very intense, terrifying noise that you could hear for damn near miles. That as soon as he figured that out, he carved that shit right out of that person, that what do they call troglodyte's neck?
Yep.
And started using that shit. And I love that he almost gagged when he put it in his mouth too. I don't even notice that, but I thought that was really cool.
Just the fact him figuring it out, to me, like y'all said, I was not expecting him to become the hero, but his determination, man. I like to think when I watch a movie what I would do if I was in that situation, and that movie kept me on the edge the whole time. Just I don't know, the unknown, what they were going out looking for and what they found.
Yeah.
Did the troglodytes, has there ever been any kind of people like that? Do y'all know?
I did do some investigating on it. It just means cave dwelling people. Not necessarily Native American. Mm-hmm. I don't know if there are Native American troglodytes, but I imagine there were maybe. But there was a race of people, and I kind of have it in my movie, and it was out there in the California Death Valley where they found cave systems and they found the remains of these mummies that were like 8 feet tall. And these mummies have been found. They were found in Kentucky. They were found in China. They were found all over the world. A lot of people think they were Scandinavian because Scandinavians came. Yeah. And they usually have red hair, so that's why they think they're from Scandinavia. The Vikings came up north, came down, and all that. So, but they found them there. There's articles about them. I can't remember what they were called, but
the Hill People.
The movie. He was very inspired by the writer. What's his name? Haggard, who wrote The King Solomon's Mines. And Alan Quartermain and all that. He wrote a lot about. He wrote about the Lost World and Lost Races, and we see those in those movies.
Those races. Wonderful canon Indiana Jones knockoffs.
Those are good movies, man.
Yeah.
Well,
I remember those.
The movies were, but the books came out,
right? Yeah.
Long before Indiana Jones. This guy was writing about that stuff. A lot of people know him from the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen book, Alan Quartermain. Mm-hmm. But the Keith, what's his name? Richard Chamberlain played him.
In
the 80s.
Underrated, man.
Yeah, I remember liking him, but he wrote a lot about those lost worlds, those lost races, like the Atlanteans and all these races that no one knows were they myth or were they real or were they really here. That's what this is playing, and so that's what these are. So it was inspired by that legend. Also, definitely feels like Sonny Bean's legend. There's Hills Have Eyes, Ties, cannibals. And I was listening to the doc about cannibals today. I know Jared watches a lot of cannibal movies. Maybe he knows more about. But and I was listening to the doc about cannibals in New Guinea, and trying to find out, like, because like some people were saying, like, having a problem with the violence, what they do to those guys, what they do to that deputy when they chop him up and scalp him, and how brutal it is. And I just so happened to be watching the documentary this week, or this thing about the guy was talking about the Comanches and how brutal and violent they were. Like, if they raided, the colonists were terrified of the Comanches, because the Comanches were killing off the other tribes. They were killing the Apaches. They almost wiped out the Apaches. They were just a warring people, and it was a lot of revenge killing. And basically, like, they would raid, they would kill all the men, they would usually kill the babies, they would take the women and children, they would rape the women, gang rape them to death, or they would tie them down naked, and they would, just cut off all your limbs, throw you in the fire, watch you squirm around. They would, cut your dick off, put it in your mouth, sew it up. They would bury you in the sand and cut your eyelids off so your eyes would bake in the sun. Like, horrible stuff, and it was all revenge based. And so I was listening to the cannibals, and why do cannibals kill? And they said it wasn't really about sustenance. It wasn't about eating. It was revenge. The ones in New Guinea, they would kill magic men, like the guys who dealt with magic, like witch doctors. That kind of, like, I guess they weren't liked. And so if they found out you were, I guess it's like, if you find someone, like kind of the witch trials, if you found someone was dealing with black magic or witchcraft or magic or whatever, they would kill them and they would eat them. That's what the cannibals would do in New Guinea. They said, some people were killed for food, but it wasn't normal. Like, it was usually a revenge thing, or erasing these occult people, dealing with occult stuff. But yeah, like, the brutality that we see in this movie is like, it's how it is. And you think, why did they, like, the chopping up? Well, like, that's what you do to an animal that you're going to eat. Like, you would butcher it, and like, it's just, that's what they're doing. And plus,
that's a slaughter mechanism.
And the reason they would chop them up is because it's a lot easier to carry a chopped up body than the whole body.
But you also get all the entrails and stuff out when you cut them like that too. Yeah.
And just the little details, like, we see him shit himself when they cut him up. Like, that's a little detail. Like, if you look when he's chopping them in half, you see a shit stain on his ass after they've cut him. It's that gruesome. So yeah, I'm like I said earlier in the show, like, if you're just wanting to see a movie like The Searchers, which this movie borrows from too, the whole plot of this is like John Wayne's The Search, John Ford's, where Natalie Wood and a few people are kidnapped by the Indians, and John Wayne goes off to find them and get them back. But if you're thinking that's what you're going to get, you see that.
Yeah.
Right.
I would be traumatized if I was watching that, because you think, because I'm sure a lot of families watch this movie. You imagine that?
Right.
Think about it.
How many 70-year-old grandmas watch this movie?
Hey, we should watch this Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell.
I remember watching him on Disney when he was a kid. And yeah, not the same Kurt Russell movie.
I remember him in Tombstone 25 years ago.
He played Elvis.
Yeah, right.
My dad's a big Western guy, and I've thought about bringing this down and just putting it in and being like, Dad, this is a great Western, and seeing what, how it plays out.
Like going to Mom and saying, Mom, I got this great rom-com. It's called Audition.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. Oh my God.
I got choked.
It gets funnier. It gets funnier.
Yeah, just wait. Really get
wait till she answers the phone.
Oh man.
And I'm sorry if I drank too much, y'all. I take meds and it dries my mouth out bad.
Oh man, don't worry. I got a water bottle and a fucking Powerade here, so
cool. I just didn't want to be rude.
Gotta stay hydrated, man.
I was gonna say I stay hydrated all the time.
The movie also reminded me of Jack Ketchum's book Off Season, which I brought up. That was
you mentioned that the other day.
Because in that movie, these people are abducted by this race of cannibals in the night, and they take them back to their cave and put them in cages like that, naked, and eat off of them and kill them, and
I haven't read
all
that
that
one.
stuff.
I read The Girl Next Door and another one.
What was
Those are-
that?
I mean-
what was that,
Go ahead.
Nathan? That book?
It's called Off Season. Jack Ketchum wrote it. It was his first book. He wrote The Girl Next Door and
All right.
The Lost and Red.
Yeah, The Lost was the other one I read.
And but Off Season, did you see The Woman, Lucky McKee's movie?
I've never seen it, but I've heard a lot about it.
That one's a good one. Like the first one was Off Season, then he wrote a sequel called The Offspring, and in that one, the character of the woman's in it, and it's like a family of cannibals that live in this cave. And what happened was they made a movie of Offspring, which is pretty bad. But Pollyanna McIntosh played the woman in that, and she was on Walking Dead. She was like garbage people leader.
Oh shit! Yeah.
She
That's
played
who
the
I
woman.
knew. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, she played the woman in on Offspring, and I guess Jack liked her. Or I don't know what it was, but that movie wasn't good. But she deserved a better movie. So Lucky McKee, who made May and a few other great horror movies,
May's good.
hooked up with Jack Ketchum, and they wrote a book called The Woman, which is about her. It's about this guy who's out hunting, this Christian dude's out hunting and finds her, and he like knocks her out and takes her back to his house and ties her up in his shed, and is going to do whatever he wants with her. But he's got like his family, and they all, it's kind of like The Girl Next Door, where they kind of all systematic, like he gets his family involved in her torture and sexual assaults and all that. And she's like this feral woman who doesn't talk.
She's feral. Yeah.
But it's a motherfucker of a movie. But she just directed a sequel, which I've got, but I haven't watched, called Darlin', which is, I think, the 4th installment of it. I don't think because Jack passed away. I don't think Jack had anything to do with it. But the woman's really good.
So
I like The Woman. But that's what Off Season is probably the most gruesome book I've ever read. His name is Dallas. He named himself Jack Ketchum because he didn't want his family knowing he wrote it.
Dally.
Yeah. Dally.
I've never read any of those books, but based on the descriptions that you said, and I don't think I would want.
Well,
The Girl Next Door is based
I don't
off
even know if
a
I did
true
that.
story.
The Girl Next Door, he based a lot
Is
of
it
stuff
really?
on true stories. So Girl Next Door is a true story. The Lost was a true story. Red was based on, he went to a bar and his bartender told him a story about some guy whose dog was killed out of spite, and by these teenagers. And it's Brian Cox. It's a really good movie called Red. It's funny. It came out the same year all the other Red movies, the Bruce Willis movie and all that came out. And Brian Cox is in both of them, I believe, in Red. But that's probably the most, Red would be the one that's most accessible, where it's not extremely violent. Girl Next Door is really hard watch because it's awful. It's a real story. It really happened.
It's a true story. Yeah.
Oh
The
my
Lost is bad too, but the Girl Next Door is really rough because it's a real thing. And actually, they made a TV movie with Ellen Page starred in it.
God. Wow.
Called, I think, America's Worst Crime Ever or something like that. But yeah, I got a lot of vibes from Off Season in this, especially at the cave. Which there's a trivia that cave is the same cave that Iron Man was shot in.
It looks from that makes sense.
Where he built the cave, the
Yeah.
Iron Man.
Really? That's cool.
The good old Mark I suit.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not that. They said it was only like maybe 50 or so miles away from actual Hollywood.
Yeah,
Which is crazy to think
Yeah.
about so damn like that up there.
Yeah, you look at those wide shots, like, God, they look like they're out in the middle America with the plains, but you see the mountains. And that was something I didn't realize when I went to LA. It was like how mountainous, like the mountains out there. You should know it because the Hollywood sign, but you don't think of it that way. You think it's probably flat, which a lot of it is. But really, I think that's why they shoot movies in California, because the landscape is so diverse. You got deserts nearby,
really
you
is.
got woods, and you got, And the weather's always not usually nice.
You get a lot of filming in that way. You don't have to worry about snow.
Oh, the other one that made me think of it with the troglodytes I brought up was the Michael Crichton book, Eaters of the Dead, and the 13th Warrior movie, the version, adaptation of it, which they kind of reminded me of those people in the 13th Warrior, the Bear Clan or whatever they were.
Am I coming through okay, by the way?
Yeah.
My computer's acting weird.
That's something I picked up today. David Arquette desecrates like 2 religions in the movie. In the beginning of the movie, he goes on, he knocks over their burial ground stuff, of course. Mm-hmm. But I believe those people they're killing in the beginning are maybe priests or preachers or something because they have a box of Bibles or Bible cells.
Yeah, somebody will buy them
because he's burning the Bibles, and he tells them not to burn the Bibles. So he's desecrating Christian faith and the troglodytes. Again, the movie is very faithful. Like you said, like Patrick Wilson's constantly talking to God and thanking God, and
I really like that too.
Yeah.
Like asking
and he said "God damn" one time, and he looked up and he said "Sorry."
What did he say when he woke up? He was sleeping, when they left him. He said something when he woke up.
He was having a dream. Yeah, I don't remember what he said.
He mumbled something, tickled the shit out of me.
I know what you're talking about. When he was knocked out by the opium after they left him. Mm-hmm. He was having a dream, and I don't remember exactly what he said, but it's like that must have been a weird ass dream because he said something and just woke up.
I wonder if him shooting the snake in the tree had something to do with like Satan and temptation of taking the opium and all that. Because I like that part where they're looking through the German.
Yeah.
What do you see? He goes, I see a snake. What kind? Boom. Deceased.
Yeah, I feel like I could watch those 4 actors in a movie again like this. They were really good together.
Yeah. The movies I thought was very. Craig Zahler, who's a director, writer.
Mm-hmm.
All his movies are good. I don't know if you've seen like Cell Block, Brawl on Cell Block 99, and Dragged Across Concrete. Mm-hmm. But he's kind of the only filmmaker really who's doing true pulp stuff right now. Like it's very old school, hard, 2-fisted pulp fiction. Robert E. Howard, Mickey Spillane type. Like the dialogue is very pulpy in some ways. Yeah, I like that's what I think when I see his films. That's what makes me want to read his books. Because I haven't read his books, and now I'm really wanting to, now that I know. Because I didn't really do a whole lot of homework on him. But apparently his one of the Westerns he did, Ridley Scott was supposed to make into a film a few years ago. I guess that fell apart. But it was a Western, and it sounded similar to this. About a revenge movie in the West.
I feel like he mentioned something about that at one point about getting it made and another director is attached. Maybe that's not the same one, but
no, he kind of talked about that in the Q&A, how there was some people attached to it and they wanted to like force it into another direction, and they were like, fuck that. And that's kind of what made them ultimately make it an independent effort where they had people from overseas finance it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't remember the guy's name I saw in the Q&A, but he mostly financed it here in the States.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember. And I watched most of that Q&A like you guys did, but I don't remember anything about Ridley Scott.
It might have been a different project, possibly, but I mean, that would have been interesting.
Well, his filmography is so small, isn't it? It's only like 3 or 4 things when it comes to.
He doesn't have very many.
Yeah. I'm gonna look real fast. That's actually what
I was gonna say he likes Vince Vaughn.
Yeah, Vince Vaughn.
That's a tall motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vince is tall.
Vince did his whole career with that Cell Block movie because like I liked it. Like I saw Swingers back when it came out and loved it, loved him. But his career was kind of just okay. But Cell Block showed him in a whole different way, and it was like, wow, I didn't expect that. And Jennifer Carpenter, who he wanted for this one, he wanted Jennifer Carpenter to play Patrick Wilson's wife originally.
Really?
Wow.
And she's in Cell Block and Dragged Across Concrete.
Yep.
So
why couldn't they get her? Did they say why?
I don't know. Maybe she was
Dexter was over at that point.
working on something else.
Conflicted, yeah.
That's interesting. Seeing her in that part, like she's a tough woman. Like she portrays a tough woman. Like if you watch Dexter, of course, she's good. She's good. I like her.
Or if you watch the subpar record remake of Quarantine.
Yep.
I've never seen that. I saw Wreck and I was done.
Oh, you gotta keep going, sir.
I'm not done.
I've always been a big fan of Richard Jenkins, and
I like him too.
I really love him in that. Like the first time I really noticed him was in a movie called Trapped in Paradise in the '90s, Nicolas Cage Christmas movie with Dana Carvey and John Lovett.
Yeah,
and he played the FBI agent, and he's in a small town, and he's like, John Ashton's like fucking up everything. He's always like, because he's trying to find the money too, and they're chasing him around. And there's a part where they're like following the FBI guys are following John Ashton because they're leading somewhere, and he's just like Richard Jenkins is just over this town, like he's tired of dealing with these idiots, and they're calling in like John Ashton's license plate. It's like, yeah, it's DUH. That's appropriate.
Duh.
And then the DUH 247 or something like that, and then they hang it up, and Richard Jenkins is like, duh, what kind of license plate do you have? Duh. He was just funny, and like he's just really underappreciated. It really is. Like, like people probably only know him from Cabin in the Woods and things like that, but the guy is phenomenal. Everything he's ever done is wonderful.
Yeah, I thought you were going to mention fucking what's that movie called with the Step Brothers?
Oh yeah,
because
he was from that too.
He's
funny.
Step Brothers.
He's
I forgot he was the dad in that.
Yeah, he was the dad in that. He's fucking awesome in that movie. He's not like he's got a lot. I'm looking now at his. He's got a lot of. He's in a lot of stuff. I didn't realize.
Last year this year he did Humans, which is a great movie. The Humans,
Nightmare Alley.
The first time I ever saw Denying, Michonne from Walking Dead was a movie called The Visitor that he was in. That was really good. He takes her and her husband are African, like from Africa, and he takes them into his home, and he forms a bond with them, and it was a really good movie. I love like the little moments he has, like talking about the flea circus.
The flea circus is really good. Yeah, that's one.
Or the whole reading a book in the bath.
They're just so simple but amazing dialogue, and just when he's rambling on when they're just walking and like, do you have a trap for that mouth, sir?
Yeah, it's like, what's it like? Do you ever keep that aperture closed or something?
Yeah, aperture. Yeah.
It's like, would you just rather us walk and us breathe? Like,
well, like when he's
like, that's gold, man.
I like the fighting he has with Matthew Fox, and like the part where he's like talking about that, and Kurt Russell's like, well, you could just get you one of those stands that composers use, and you can just have that and have you a towel by the side and dry your fingers when you want to turn. He's like, wow, I'm going to do that. I bet Bruder wouldn't think that. And as soon as he does, like, that's when the jingle and he shoots.
Yeah.
So it's like, he is smarter than you guys. Okay. It was the first to react. Like, he's not like just boasting. He is good and smart at what he does. I do. That's another line I like when he's at the bar and he says, "I've killed more Indians than everyone combined here." And the Native American guy says, "That's ugly boast."
That's an ugly, yeah.
And he says, "It's not a boast. It's just a fact.
Just a fact.
Yeah.
Another thing I like, y'all, was when Kurt and what was the simple-minded guy's name again?
Chicory.
And Russell, before that deputy is split, he's telling him that they're coming, you know, and I thought that was a good little touch. And then when it's happening to Kurt, Chicory's doing the same thing, you know, with his simple mind. I don't know. I thought that was sweet.
Yeah. Kind of the reassuring, like, you know, I'm gonna help and I'm gonna make this better.
You'll be avenged.
You'll be avenged. Yeah.
Yep.
Ray, could I step away just for like a minute?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
Yeah, of course yeah, you can.
Give me just 1 second. 1 second.
You're fine.
He's
Yeah,
so
some good-
polite.
Some good dialogue. The
Good old Southern boy.
Yeah.
when he shoots the two Mexicans and he's like, if you want to question my morals, do it later. He goes, well, there are none to question.
Pretty sure there's none to question.
That's what I was saying earlier. This movie has some of the best dialogue I think I've ever heard in any movie ever.
Yes.
What was that one? You shouldn't have killed those Mexicans. One of them was wearing a crucifix. Well, Jesus should have helped him.
Yes. Yes. That was also golden. Yes. Yes. I mean, and I want to pose this when Luke comes back, but I want to, because I know where everybody's gravitating, but I want to ask everybody's personal preference of best performance.
Okay.
That's
tough.
Yeah.
They're all four really strong.
Because they are all perfect in the roles that they play. Like, I cannot really. I was literally thinking about it last night. Like, every single one of them have an amazing performance, regardless of what they do in the movie.
You get four great actors, and then each of them, like they turn into that character very well. You know. Go ahead, ask the question. So now that Luke's back.
Okay, so now that you're back, Luke, I was going to pose a question. So
Yes, sir.
now that you've seen the movie, out of all the four characters, all amazing actors, who had the best performance in the movie?
Okay, I'm going to say Wilson because he had to deal with many different things, from pain to his wife to having to go from being the weakest link to the only link. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I would say Wilson.
Yeah, I agree with that. Actually, there's, like I mentioned, Matthew Fox earlier, and this is like the best thing I've ever seen. His best performance and everything. I loved his character. I would love to see a whole movie of Reuter. That like something about him I really liked. But like all the trials and tribulations, they actually went maybe 15 or 20 minutes. Not maybe that long, but they went a while without showing Patrick Wilson after they did that scene where it seemed like they were going to cut his leg off.
Yep.
And so then you get back to him, and he becomes fucking amazing, you know, with taking out those guys, and he saved pretty much everybody. Not everybody, but you know, yeah. I think, and plus all the like Luke nailed it for me. So I'm not gonna say anything else because I sound dumb.
It is a very difficult role to pull off, just because of how much pain is he in this moment, and how much is he not, how much is he hiding, and how much is he letting go. And I like that you know, he goes off to have his moment away from everybody, and like Bruder, like the moments that he has where he shows his humanity, where he has to put his horse down. Thank you for your service. And the scene where after they've left him, after he's been, I'm too vain to live a cripple, and they leave him, and he has that moment where he's putting the cigar, but he starts crying, like face, this is it, I'm gonna die. Like, and it's the one time where like he's not so being the tough guy or the cold, heartless revenger that he is. So I think I might even lean to him because we just don't see Matthew Fox that good. All these other actors have had stellar fucking performances, and this was really like Matthew's best moment in his career. And but the Jenkins scene, the way he reacts when she tells him that they were live fleas, I knew it.
I knew it.
Yes.
It's a great delivery. It's a great.
And then she winks at him.
I was gonna say the thing about the Richard Jenkins, he plays very similar roles in a lot of the movies he's in. And I feel like his face is very recognizable. I didn't see him in this movie.
I've never seen him play simple like that. He's usually very intelligent.
Well, not even that. He didn't even look like him. You know what I'm saying? Like,
the beard.
I thought he was he was buried in that role, and like he was not like anything I've ever seen him in before. You know?
Yeah.
Sherry says Matthew Fox's best role is Party of Five. I said
I knew somebody was gonna bring up fucking Party of Five.
That's the only other thing I think he's been in.
He was in Lost. Also.
I'm joking. I know.
Which I've never seen either of them.
I've never seen Lost or Party of Five. I just watched Freaks and Geeks for the first time. So, am I the only one who's seen it now?
No, I have.
Freaks and Geeks.
Yeah.
I watched it when it aired, '99. Yeah.
I have not.
This is my first time.
You've never.
It's on my list.
It's on Hulu.
Failing.
Dude, it's watch it. It's
only 17 episodes.
Yeah.
And then Undeclared was their follow-up.
Yeah, I actually have seen Undeclared, but I never watched Freaks and Geeks, which has the guy from Sons of Anarchy in it.
Charlie, that's the first time I saw him. When I saw, I haven't watched. Yeah, when I saw Sons of Anarchy, I was like, that's Charlie from Undeclared.
That was not streaming. I want to watch that too. I like almost anything Judd Apatow's a part of. I've liked. So
yeah, absolutely.
You know, yeah, so that's good that I saw. I just watched some 30-minute thing with him last night on interview with him going through his career on Vanity Fair, and I forgot how much his fingers were in so many projects from like 2000.
Cable guy, and
he's a talented dude too. So I like Judd Apatow. Anyway, is there you want to do some final thoughts? I have a question to pose.
I was going to say we got a couple of other thoughts still, sir.
Well, then do your thoughts. Talk about it. Come on. We're just getting close on time.
Seth has not said who his best character performance was.
That's
right. Hold on.
There it is.
Come on, Seth. Let's
put him on blast.
Richard Jenkins for me. He was very likable. He was a character who wanted to do the right thing. He wanted to help out everyone, no matter how rude, people were to him. He still wanted to help out, and it was very likable. Kind of like how he was in Burn After Reading, which is my other favorite performance.
Yeah. He was very kind in that movie.
I gotta rewatch that movie. I hated it when I saw it.
I don't feel comfortable with that being here. This is the shit, man. Shit.
Yeah.
I found it on the floor there.
That's on Peacock. I'm gonna watch it.
On the floor there.
And just speaking of Nate mentioned something how that it reminded him of. For me, it kind of reminded me a little bit of The Stand, a little bit too. You have these 4 people going on a track. One of them's eventually hurts his leg. Jenkins' character is kind of simple, like Colin, I don't know. It just kind of reminded me a little bit of The Stand. Just kind of want to point that out.
And a little bit of someone asked what his favorite movies were, and the first movie he threw out was The Wild Bunch, which is my favorite Western.
Oh, wow.
And there is similar. You got 4 guys who basically are going to suicide, basically like going on a suicide mission. To not give away Wild Bunch, but
it's fucking 60 years old.
Yeah, haven't seen it yet.
Yeah,
shame on you.
Yeah. All right. What else?
If we're cutting it close, I'll make it quick. But my favorite portrayal was Matthew Fox as Brooder. Never seen anything he's ever done. I never.
Couldn't you see a whole movie with him?
Party of Five. I never saw anything he's ever been in.
Yeah,
he was
never
pretty
saw
good.
Anything.
He had a small role in Smoking Aces, and he was pretty good in that.
I've seen that, but I don't remember that.
What was his role in that?
He was, I think he was like head of security at the hotel.
Yeah, okay, I remember that. Yeah, I like that movie. Yeah. Oh, a movie I actually like. I was talking about movies I don't like. But I'm gonna rewatch Burn After Reading. I'll report back to you guys.
Somebody in the Q&A, I watched the special features. They considered Brooder a sociopath.
Yeah.
And in a way, I kind of disagree, but also agree at the same time because you see him as a well-clean, debonair man when he's in town, because he has a face. You know, he knows how to play the role of somebody who has well-to-do and has money when they're in town, but when you're out in the wild, he is not that man at all.
No, they're like sociopaths are people who don't care about anything of themselves or anyone else, and he definitely cares about people. His whole life is about what happened to his family.
Yeah.
And when he kills his horse, he loved that horse. Like a sociopath doesn't fucking feel anything.
Yeah.
He loved that horse.
He wouldn't have went out there if he didn't have affection for
for her.
Patrick Wilson's wife.
That's right, yeah.
Plus, he's doing the right thing. He's like, I got her into this. I'll go out there. I'll do this.
Yeah, because he's the one who got her to go to the jailhouse. That's right. Yeah.
And he's willing. He's willing to take a few of them out, even though he's going to die. Give me the dynamite, and don't come back until you hear me use it. He's scared when he's dying. He's crying when he's dying. That's not a fucking sociopath.
Yeah, no, and that's what I disagreed with when I heard that. But like, this is one of those movies where it's literally like, what is your card on the day? Like, I'm gonna flip a face card down. Like, every performance is fucking phenomenal. I can't pick a best one, but if I had to do it right now, it would have been his. Just because I don't really know anything about his past acting ability. Like,
it's funny, nobody said Kurt Russell.
No,
he's great in it.
I mean, he's great in it, but I guess you expect Kurt Russell to throw out an absolute great performance, you know. But these other three characters that like you want to spend time with them as well. Like Kurt Russell, when you watch it, it's not a Kurt Russell movie either. I hate this. I really don't like the cover art because it's not his movie. It's the four of them's movie, you know. But like you expect that that's the character you're going to follow, but no, you want to spend time with each of the four guys, you know. Shit, even some of the other people in town, like the bartender and Sid Haig was in it for a second.
Yep.
And his death at the very, very beginning was fucking killer, man.
Yeah, we got a lot of cameos, like James Tolkien from Back to the Future and Top Gun. So Michael Pare and Sean Young and the guy
in the Cruisers.
The Native American guy was in Dr. Sleep and he's on Fargo. And then the mayor was one of the Frog Brothers, right? The other Frog Brothers.
Yeah.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah.
Holy shit! And his wife was the real mayor.
I knew Michael Perry was in it.
I didn't know
he was the rich guy that owned the horses.
Yeah.
Oh.
So overall, Tomahawk is a good movie.
Yeah.
It's definitely worth watching. It's too bad it's not streaming. You have to get a copy or.
I got a copy on DVD at Walmart for $5. You may still be able to find it in the bin.
Yep. Before I got mine.
It's worth the money, man. I can't believe I sat on it for 7 years when it came out. 15.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little longer, and it's like the way I described it earlier in the show. I said it reminds me, like I asked the question just to see what people would say on the Facebook page. Is this a horror movie? Because I want to know what people think. It is 100%. Because it's like the House of the Devil. It's not the same movie, of course, but it's a slow build, and there is tension throughout, especially when you start hearing those fucking throat whistle things, man. Those things they get you.
It might as well be a werewolf howling.
Yes.
Yeah,
right.
It is.
Exactly.
I mean,
yes.
It's the same technique. It's
very effective, man.
Yeah.
It's a great movie. I really like it. It's going to go in my top westerns list, I think, when it comes down to it. I've only seen 5 westerns, though. No, I love westerns. Let's go around the table, do some final thoughts, and I have a question for everybody who watches this, everybody watching, and then you guys also. So let's start with Jared. You want to do your final thoughts? Nate, let's do you first because you might bounce.
Final thoughts. I'm glad Luke picked this one because I had only seen it the one time, probably when I recommended it, and luckily you caught it, and I'm glad you liked it because that's why I share stuff on Facebook for people to find these things and check them out. But I was glad to look back at it because I'd forgotten how good it was. You know, I really did. It was. And whenever we do these shows and we get to dissect them and really pay attention to them, because I've watched it twice. I watched it yesterday. I watched it today. Just because when I watch a movie, I watch it like a moviegoer, and then I watch it watching it yesterday. I was watching it as a moviegoer, and today I watch it as a filmmaker and as an analyst and podcaster, and to really pay attention to things like that, and to notice all the little things that we don't see or don't pay attention to the first time. Which we say, you got to watch movies over and over and over to really appreciate them. Just a tight. This is the kind of filmmaking that I like to do. This is the kind of thing that I want to do. Like, I really admire this film. I would love to make a Western, and this is the kind of Western I really dig, because it very rare do you really see characters painted like this. We do really get to know these four guys, and because we do spend so much time with them, we do know who they are. And if you're not rooting for Patrick Wilson and you're not cheering when he does save the day at the end, then there's something wrong, because that's really what. And you see all the way to the end, Kurt Russell is basically being the Kurt Russell we want to see, the Wyatt Earp, the guy who's got shit in charge. He knows he's probably going to die. When he's dying, he's facing death. I mean, he's getting. We think he's out for the count, and then like he gets up, chops that dude's head off, and he's, you can hear the breathing that is shot in the lung, and you can hear it when he's talking, and all of that. It's like Kurt Russell is also an underrated actor. He really is. Like, he's always been seen as this Disney studio kid, but the cute guy, did all the fun. I don't think people don't bring him up when they talk about great actors. If anything, he's a great movie star. He's one of the all-time great movie stars, like up there with Tom Cruise and Eddie Murphy and those guys. Like, he should be more celebrated. But this, and he did this the same year as he did Hateful Eight. Both great Westerns, great performances from Kurt Russell. The guy's an icon, and I don't think he gets appreciated as much as some of his peers. And he just seems like an awesome dude.
Yeah,
all around.
I love Kurt Russell. This is one of my favorites. Jared, go ahead, man.
Well, I mean, Nate took a lot of the words out of my mouth, but I mean,
must have been when he was kissing you, right?
Took
You're getting
the
a dick
wind
pic
out
too.
of my breath. Took the wind from me. But no, like, as with Nate, I watched it once 7 years ago, and then I rewatched it again. It's like, wow, why haven't I watched this movie again recently, before now? And thank you, Luke, for bringing this topic up.
Yes, sir.
It's more than just a regular Western. Like, it has a lot going with it. It has really strong character development, like Nate was saying, and it gives you a third act that's going to fuck you in your face if you're not ready for it.
That's right.
I mean,
absolutely.
I'm a spaghetti Western fan. Sergio Cabucci. Like, I love spaghetti Westerns.
Yeah.
And even Zoller put a fucking spaghetti Western song at the credits of the song. That's why I put One Doomed Man Rides Out, but it's Four Doomed Men Ride Out. But it's totally a spaghetti Western song, because that's where he gets his. He loves spaghetti Westerns.
Yeah, there's a lot of peck and paw in this one, though.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely Leone. More so than John Ford, because John Ford is one of the greats, but the dialogue was not. It was Hollywood dialogue. It was more old-fashioned dialogue, where this feels like real people talking.
Which is
very much like Peck and Paul. Peck and Paul is very rooted in reality, I thought.
Yes. And that's one of the things that I love about it. Like, I love a good old school Western. Like, I mean, not to hate on any of the old school Hollywood Westerns, but I love dark and gritty and dirty and bloody. Like, when it comes to my Westerns, like, that's just the way I like them.
I'm with you there, buddy.
Yep.
That's all I got.
All right. Sethy Poo. The nickname is back.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good horror Western. Like I said earlier, it's very raw. I appreciate the style of it. As you guys were saying, the characters are very likable, especially together. So yeah, I don't really have much more to say, but I really enjoyed it. It was my first time watching. So it's cool.
You see it? You see it?
Yeah.
Didn't know I could change your name, did you?
Oh, I knew.
Sefty Poo.
Sefty Poo.
All right, Luke. Let's round this out and then tell us everything that you can. Remind everybody where we can find you. But tell us your final thoughts first, and then I got a question.
Okay, the first thing is I'm like Jared. I like my westerns more real, because it was a wild time, man. It wasn't glamorous, you know. And I guess the main
West, right?
Do what?
It wasn't called the Tamed West.
That's right. That's right. One thing is that I like all these men basically went on a suicide mission and they didn't question it, the honor of it, you know. Yeah. To me, that because there's finality in that they faced that I couldn't face. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That was, I don't know. That movie really it affected me. I don't know. It scared the shit out of me the first time, but the more you watch it, you see there's so much to unpack about it, man. And y'all done a great job. I had all kinds of stuff I was going to say, and I just forgot it all. So.
It happens,
but I loved it. Yeah,
you're right. Like the whole motivation of these four men and what they go. I mean, obviously Patrick Wilson is trying to save his wife and trying to get there. The sheriff, he took that job. That's his position. That's what I'm there to do it. Yeah. That's one of my people have been taken. One of my deputies has been taken. This is my duty. Even though his wife's like, you don't have to. He's like, well, yeah, I do. And his deputy goes with him out of his loyalty to him. It's his best friend. It's his hero. It's the guy that takes care of him, as Jared talked about. And then with is it Broomer? He's he's a man of consequence. I got her into this, and I can't I can't live with myself without trying at least to get her out of it. So yeah, that's a strong thing, because we do see a lot of movies like this when they don't have those motivations in some of these movies like that.
Yeah.
Or sometimes it's a selfish thing, or but they're honorable men, a breed that doesn't exist anymore, I guess.
Yeah.
There are some. There's a lot of good honorable people out there. Oh, we just don't hear about them.
Yeah.
Never had one. So, Luke, tell us again about what you got a Kickstarter coming up at some point soon.
Yes, sir. From my
website. Did you guys come up with a web address yet?
Yeah, it's going to be Hondo's Horror Gallery at Hondo's Horror Gallery.
Okay, and we'll definitely share that out whenever you guys launch.
Yeah, give me about a week or so, maybe the first.
You take your time. You let me know when you're ready.
Yes, sir.
You don't have to rush for us.
Well, I'm just tired of dragging, spinning my wheels. I want to get stuff going, man.
I get it. Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I understand that. Yeah, that makes sense.
So, off topic, I finally watched Deadly Friend the other night, and the basketball scene made me laugh harder than I've ever laughed at anything in my entire life, just so you guys know. And Helena watched it. She was laughing her ass off, too, my 8-year-old daughter. That movie was awful. I wasted $2 on that. I honestly would. Wes Craven made this movie? Come on. But I did watch Alone in the Dark. Have you guys seen that?
Is that the New Line Cinemas?
Uwe Boll?
Jack Palance and Will Matthau, right?
Walter Matthau. Yeah, not Walter Matthau. Martin Landau.
Landau.
Yeah,
it's one with the hockey mask and
the Bleeder.
Before Jason had the hockey mask.
I really fucking like that movie.
Yeah, I've
very surprisingly like that movie quite a bit.
What's it called?
Alone in the Dark.
Alone in the Dark. Okay.
Scream Factory recently released it on Blu-ray. But my question, by the way, I loved Bone Tomahawk. I thought it was fantastic. Great movie. The dialogue really caught me, because dialogue can be tricky in films and comics, especially. But my question is, for next week's show, we don't have a topic yet because we were flying by the seat of our pants. I have 3 options, okay? And Luke chime in too, okay? 3 options that are from my brain, and one of them is The Omen.
Ooh.
I've been wanting to talk. I've been in a satanic panic type of place lately, and this is one of my favorites. So that's one of the options, okay? For fun, Night of the Creeps.
Oh, good one.
Okay, and then the other one is Nate's gonna hate me, but the top 20, the top 20 elevated horror movies.
What?
Yeah,
Wait.
Elevated.
Midsummer, Hereditary.
That
obviously,
might need to be some research.
Do some research because I want to do that. I watched Midsummer on Friday again for the first time, and then The Wicker Man.
Based off of whose list of elevated horror?
Nate's got a list. Nate's the man. So, but Midsummer is definitely. I watched Midsummer again the other day, and I was like, "Fuck, I want to do this list really bad."
Well, I mean, I've seen all the movies on that thumbnail you just posted, but I mean, I don't know what people consider.
I'm pretty sure Nate made a list at some point. Did you, Nate? You like made a list and shared. These are considered. Or we could just talk about Willy's Wonderland, which we should at some point. I love that movie.
I just don't know what people consider elevated these days.
Watch Scream.
I mean, I know most of them are younger than us.
The Babadook, I think, one of them.
These kind of things.
So, okay, we'll put that one off then. Unless you guys have other suggestions, Night of the Creeps or The Omen.
I think Night of the Creeps would be a good audio commentary episode.
We talked about doing that, but I didn't.
And The Omen would be a good discussion episode.
So what are we going to do? Which one? What do you want to do?
We got time. It'll change in a couple of days.
He says,
"I'm just gonna watch The Omen anyway." God damn it! We're gonna next week we're talking about The Omen. You guys are being wishy-washy. I'm sorry. I love that movie. I really, I actually like the 06 remake as well. But
me too.
Yeah. Is everybody okay with that, or do you want to? I mean, we haven't done a commentary in a long time. Maybe we can convince Keith to come back for the commentary because this is the one he really wanted to do. Anyway,
it's been a while since we've done a commentary.
It has been a while. I want to thank everybody for watching the show as usual. By the way, this is my favorite thing that you've done. I think.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love it. Just show a couple pieces again.
I love that one too.
Yeah, this one's really great too.
Y'all are awesome, man.
Yeah. Come on. This guy's awesome.
What? Oh no, he's smoking a cigarette. Cigarettes
this guy?
are bad.
Come on. This guy?
No.
Now this guy's just a piece of shit. So, Luke, thanks for coming, man. I really appreciate it. Maybe we could do this again after your site launches and whatever else happens for you.
Y'all don't know how much this means,
dude.
Well, congratulations with everything you've achieved at this point, because you've come through your
yes, sir,
your demons, man. And
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You know, I like I told you in a message, I appreciate your positivity that you put out there every day.
Every day, man. Yeah,
all the time, brother. Yep. All the time.
Yeah, we need more people like you out there, and you know, we're behind you.
Not to mention how fucking supportive you are.
Yeah,
like you are absolutely 100% supportive, and you make me like instead of feeling like this, you make me smile. I mean, it was either that or the uncle fucker or whatever this guy is. It's one of the two.
One last thing, serious business. Every one of y'all guys has made me want to be a better person. Straight up.
I don't deserve that, but man, thank you for being you, dude. Seriously.
I wasn't talking about you anyway, so shut up. I'm talking about stuff. Come on. No, thank you, Luke. I appreciate it, man.
Yes,
we
sir.
really love having you on too.
Yes, sir.
Great. So keep up the good work. Keep up the positivity, because I may not like or comment on it, but I see it every fucking day. And I got to tell you, there are days that you guys know that I have rough days every now and again. My father passed away not too long ago. And seeing Luke's fucking pop up either liking my posts or commenting because you're so goddamn supportive. Even back my comic books, which I really support. Seth has too, but who cares about Seth? No. But, you know, I really appreciate everything that you're doing on Facebook. You keep Facebook worth looking at, man. So
thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome, dude. And we'll have to have you back on once the site's launched. And next
yes, sir.
week, we're going to watch us talk about The Omen. So you got to watch The Omen.
I
That's
will,
what we're
brother.
doing, Nate.
Huh? So that's what we're doing now?
Huh? That's what we're doing.
Omen? Okay.
The Omen, yes. Anyway.
It's all
not
free,
gonna do Dude Bro Party Massacre 3?
That movie's a piece of shit.
That's a good
Anyway,
movie.
you guys have a great night. We'll see you next Tuesday when we talk about The Omen. Yeah.
Peace out.
Goodbye. Thanks
Bye-bye.
again.